I sense, though, that you're competent and capable and dangerous, and I have no doubt that it's your intention to be the quiet assassin of European democracy and of the European nation states. You appear to have a loathing for the very concept of the existence of nation states. Perhaps that's because you come from Belgium, which of course is pretty much a non-country.
In 2010, a certain British politician caused international outrage when he flippantly said Belgium was, quote, pretty much a non-country. But what are the merits of this claim? For us at Springtime of Nations, a non-country would be one where self-determination is denied to one or more of the constituent nations, which sadly is most countries in the world. Belgium has two major and one minor nationality within it, and one with a high interest in being set free. Today we cover Flanders, home of the Flemish. Belgium takes its name from the Celtic tribes of that area, conquered and administered by the Romans around 22 BC. With the decline of the Roman Empire, the Germanic Franks took over the area, establishing the Carolingian dynasty, which under Charlemagne spanned from the Pyrenees Mountains to Rome. His empire didn't last long after his death, however, and it broke up in 843 among his three grandsons. Flanders was a wealthy trading county in the westernmost partition, West Francia. This kingdom would later become the modern state of France, but Flanders had a great deal of autonomy until France managed to assert more centralized control upon it after the Franco-Flemish War of 1297 to 1305. Flanders was taken from France by the Duke of Burgundy in 1369, and the Burgundian state was seen by Belgian nationalist Henri Pirenne as the source of what became the modern Belgian nation-state, as it was later constituted into the 17 provinces, making up all of the modern Low Countries in 1549, after the lands had passed from the House of Burgundy to the Spanish Habsburgs. This arrangement did not last long either, because the northern provinces revolted in 1556, beginning the Dutch Revolution. The Flemish city-state of Ghent joined them in 1577 until the Spanish reconquered it and reimposed Catholicism. The Reformed Christianity of Calvin was a significant part of the revolt of the Low Countries. Flanders continued to be part of Spain and suffered from onerous taxes and regulations while their Dutch cousins became a merchant superpower. As an augury of what was to come, in 1790, the United Belgian States were formed for less than a year in an uprising against the, now Austria-based, Habsburgs before dissolving. The French Revolution fundamentally changed the status of Flanders from an autonomous to semi-autonomous county passing between great powers to a region directly controlled by Jacobin France. The Flemish rose up, as is their tradition, in 1798 in a sequence similar to the Vendée revolt in the core of France, with rural peasants defending their priests from the centralized French state, demanding they bend the knee to the Republic before God, as well as onerous conscription on the Flemish population. The French Revolutionary Wars eventually came to an end in Belgium, of all places, at Waterloo in 1815, and the Dutch, close allies with the British, took possession of the southern provinces. This quickly became a problem, however, as though Flemings spoke Dutch, they shared the Catholic faith with their Wallonian brothers to the south. The new monarch of the United Kingdom not only wasn't Catholic, but discriminated against them, and tensions between the rulers and ruled simmered. In 1830, following the news of the liberal revolution in France that deposed the absolutist monarchy and a particularly exciting performance of The Mute Girl of Portici, an opera about a liberal uprising in the 17th century, liberals in the city of Brussels rioted against Dutch control. They were quickly joined by the rural Catholics in the southern provinces, tired of religious persecution. This union of liberals and Catholics, rather rare in the 19th century, was the basis of the new Belgian state. Belgium's new constitution was very liberal, and the new king Leopold I was Protestant, although his son Leo II would be Catholic. But the Catholic Church was given broad rights to worship. The great powers pledged to honor Belgian neutrality, and the country is considered the second in the world to really experience the Industrial Revolution after Britain. Everything was coming up roses. What could go wrong? Sadly, Belgium's traditional position as middleman between France and Germany made it a prime target for the Prussian mafia that controlled Germany after its unification, and in summer 1914, the German army swept through Belgium on a beeline to Paris. Belgium put up a respectable fight for its size against the might of Germany, but the majority of the country remained under German hands until the end of the war in 1918. German policy during the occupation strongly favored the Germanic language-speaking Flemish over the French-speaking Walloons, and this encouraged a small core of Fleming nationalists who disdained the increasing use of French overtaking their Dutch dialect, especially in government use. It is no coincidence that the modern state of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, a former Belgian possession, has French, not Dutch, as its lingua franca. The German goal ultimately was to annex Flanders into Greater Germany, and when the Nazis rolled in 1940, they had very similar goals. For these associations, the Flemish nationalist movement found itself prosecuted after liberation and discredited after World War II, similar to the Corsican nationalist collaborators with Italian fascists. The anti-Flemish nationalists pushed too far, however, in 1946, when they blew up a World War I monument to dead soldiers called the Yser Tower that had become a focal point of Flemish national pride. Flemings were outraged, and this caused a slow trend of nationalist sentiment regaining popularity, a sentiment that also coincided with the once poorer Flanders becoming an agricultural and services powerhouse, while the once richer Wallonia suffered from deindustrialization, Flanders now subsidizing the lazy Francophones. The People's Union Party was founded and enjoyed some limited support in Flanders, peaking at around 10% of the Belgian-wide vote and joining the governing coalition 3 times before it began a decline in its share of Flemish votes, competing with 2 breakaway organizations, the Radical Right and much more separatist Belgian Front, which left after the Union joined the government, and the newer, mainstream right-wing New Flemish Alliance, whose creation sounded the death knell of the liberal centrist People's Union. Combined, NVA and the bloc's successor party Flemish Interest have 47% of the devolved regional parliament, and opinion polling for the 2024 federal election has them neck and neck as the largest party in Flanders, despite neither being in the current government of Belgium, though the NVA is the senior coalition party of the Flemish government. Belgium has, to a certain extent, listened to the pleas of the Flemings, and the once unitary state became a federal one by 1993, with the Walloon, Flemish, and the small German-speaking minority having a decent measure of autonomy. The enduring popularity of NVA and VB shows that the Flemish question has not been fully answered by Brussels yet, and around 40% of Flemings currently support independence. As Nigel Farage tells us, "This is a non-country." A ramshackle arrangement, at least on paper, as unstable as Bosnia-Herzegovina, and most embarrassingly for the EU superstate, set right in the heart of that Leviathan. Springtime of Nations continues to watch the development of the Flemish national consciousness with interest. Long live Flanders, and may 1,000 flowers bloom. If you're interested in the history of this European nation, we recommend our videos on the similar stories of the Bretons in northern France and the Corsicans in the Mediterranean. Thanks for watching.